Welcome to the Arizona Wildcats Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. I'm Star Sports editor Ryan Finley, here with Daniel Burke. Daniel, let's start with a little bit of breaking news. Wide receiver Nate Phillips is done for the year, broke a bone in his foot. Looked like he was set to have surgery here on Tuesday. What does this mean for Arizona going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's one position group on this team where they can handle an injury like this, it's the receivers. They have a lot of bodies and guys they'll be able to rotate in. I think the biggest thing that Phillips brought, it wasn't so much his gaudy stats or anything like that, because his stats this year are nothing great, but he was one of the smartest receivers they had, along with Samaje Grant. They can play all four positions. They know the system incredibly well, and they just bring a element of stability when things are going rough. So when you go to Utah next week and it's loud and it's cold, Nate Phillips is the kind of guy you want in there. But they have other guys that they're excited about and that they should be able to slide in.
Funny stat on Nate Phillips, it's hard to even remember this far back, but he was their leading receiver a year ago. The fact that he hasn't been really this year, is that just more a byproduct of the talent that's at that position, or just the way it is? I mean, they throw to the open guy.
Yeah, I think it's because they have more guys and because they're never going to force anything to anyone because they don't have to. And it's not like they have one guy like a Nelson Aguilar or Dres Anderson or someone like that they feel like they need to get a certain amount of touches a game. So they spread it around, and that's just kind of the way that it's gone. But he was their best receiver last year. The bowl game that he had was one of the best bowl game performances that a wide receiver at Arizona's ever had. And I mean, he definitely is a playmaker. But again, if there's one position group where they can afford it, it's wide receiver.
Well, let's talk about that depth. Who do you think is going to step up and take over, at least get some of his touches going forward?
Well, a guy that we started to see last week, even before Phillips got hurt and then after, is Tyrell Johnson, the true freshman. They lined him up in the backfield a couple times, but then in the slot, and he caught a couple passes, including a touchdown. They really like his speed. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that's was here for the spring and has adapted well to the scheme, and is a smart guy too. So you could see more of him. You could see some Jonathan Hayden, the other true freshman who hasn't played a lot. Obviously, you have guys like Grant that we've talked about, Devontae Neal. Other guys that they can play in the slot. And then with the way they move guys around, they can move Austin Hill inside and it can get David Richards or Trey Griffey more reps on the outside.
Right, and it creates matchup problems then because you have Hill, he's faster than linebackers, bigger than DBs.
And they've been doing that a lot with Hill this year, where they've been almost moving him to like the Terrence Miller tight end position last year, where he's almost serving as an extra blocker, but they can also go out and make plays. So they have the bodies. 10 different players in this team have caught a touchdown pass this season for a reason, and it's because they have depth, and Solomon's done a really nice job spreading the ball around. So, you don't want a guy like Nate Phillips to get hurt. He's one of your, like I said, smarter players, but it's something that they should be able to overcome.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Arizona Wildcats Show, brought to you by Fry's Food Stores. For Daniel Burke, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.
Try this matchup: low prices and faster checkout. You can count on it at Fry's.